Bumped into Robert Rosario in the car park Tuesday afternoon. Can't say what car park it was. Anyway, I says, "Hi Rob, what's your bestest goal you shotted?" And he quipped instantly, "Oh, tough one. Let me mull it over, sunshine." Here we go. Welcome to the Pompey Pod with me, Mike. Dan and Tolly are unavailable this evening. What a week has unfolded. The Charlton game tragically called off. Swansea game, defeat for Portsmouth. Let's have a conversation about what's happening in our club. So we're going to look at the Swansea game, how it went about, lineup changes, how do we change this run of form that we are currently in. So let's, though, get started on some more positive things. And that's your comments. So let's have a look in the Pompey Pod Postbag. And we'll start with regular contributor, Teresa Moore. Teresa says a lot of things, so go and read her comments. But one thing she did say is that I mentioned last week about Pack's long throw. When are they ever actually useful for us? When have we ever benefited? She quite rightly pointed out that Yang's goal against Watford came via a Pack long throw. I do seem to remember it was kind of skewed clearance, came back out to Yang on the edge of the box, who finished. She also says 3 touches in the opposition box is frankly mullet stats, to be honest. Regardless, if we are away, I think the pub side could get more versus Man City. There may be some more mullets in the comments coming up. Thanks very much, Teresa, for getting involved. Where I am says, it's where am I? Apologies for that. Really good mullet. I mean podcast. Didn't even shoehorn that one in. It's kind of straight in your face. But it then goes on to kind of gives plaudits to the pod. But thanks very much for that. Appreciate it. I'm not going to kind of read them out. Christopher Reed, again, getting regular contributions from Chris. Chris does say set pieces, reset pieces, as well as the height influence. It's down to real timidness throughout the squad. Really wanted to pick up on this point. So apparent within the Pompey squad how timid we are at set pieces. It's just unbelievable. That said, I actually thought we defended set pieces fairly well against Swansea. It was one of the plus points for me against in that game. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And on the idea that we are going to persevere with the recruitment strategy, it can't continue with the same manager. You only have to look at how reluctant Moose relies on the summer transfers. Absolutely right. He always leaves his substitutions late. Again, that's another thing that I think was apparent against Swansea. Got a comment from Sir Hadley, who's an Oxford supporter, who kind of thanks very much for commenting. He asks, what the general feeling is around Portsmouth at the moment. Joe Harry says, "Well done, young man. May I ask, do you think we've had championship standard players in our team recently, other than Paul Murphy?" It's interesting, isn't it? Because I'd say consistently, no, definitely not. Definitely not. You could look at some of the players. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'd say there are. I'm going to completely backtrack on that. 3, I would say Schmid, definitely. Shaughnessy, definitely. Lang, definitely. Other than that, though, so that's 5 players. We've got a squad of 20-odd players, and 5 we're saying are championship quality. I think on their day, others are. Swanson, Williamson can be. I think Ogilvie can be championship quality, but mainly down to the fact that he raises his game and works his socks off. Chaplin clearly is championship quality. We know that, but he's not shown it for us. There's plenty of others. Yang is, the potential for Yang he looks like he's going to be a superstar. But again, inconsistent for us. Dazelle, inconsistent for us. All across the pitch, that's what you've got to say is it's the inconsistencies of our players, which stops them from being championship quality. Really disappointing. Gim Blue or GLM Blue says, "I think the reason we are so bad at set pieces is simply not tall enough when we get out jumped." Could have a point there. If you look across the team, we don't have many 6-foot plus players. I think you're looking at Knight, Swanson, Shaughnessy, obviously not playing for a while. Pack, not many else other than that, really, who are 6-foot plus. Even if you look at Regan Paul, only 5'10", so good point. Okay, Chris Reed again. Bumped into Robert Rosario in the car park Tuesday afternoon. Can't say what car park it was. Anyway, I says, "Hi Rob, what's your bestest goal you shotted?" And he quipped instantly, "Oh, tough one. Let me mull it over, sunshine." Very good, Chris. Thank you very much for that. Matt Dinio says the reason why people are saying get Gary O'Neill is because he said in 2021, "I'm certain that one day I will manage Portsmouth Football Club. Yeah, that's my aim. Hopefully that moment is part of my future." So, fair play. I just wonder whether that's right for him at this moment in time. We shall see. I'm not so sure. And John Jones finally says, bye-bye, Dazelle. Okay. So we played China the weekend for 12 minutes. We actually looked okay in those opening 12 minutes, I thought. There's two sides of the coin now. I thought we looked okay going forward. We looked incredibly nervous at the back. So it could have been an interesting game. Obviously, tragic events happened there, and we wish all the best to the family of the gentleman who lost his life. Let's have a look at the highlights for the Swansea game. 1-0 defeat to Swansea. We actually started really well, didn't we? Murphy running at players, beat his man really well here, got a shot off, and Chaplin following it up on his left foot. Now, I was watching Mourinho's press conference today, and he's saying that he feels that Chaplin would have preferred to have got that on his left foot. It was on his left foot, so I don't really know what he's saying there. I thought this was a bit of a strange game because I thought we started really poorly. We then grew into the game for the remainder of the first half, but just had Swansea were definitely there to be taken, for the taking, sorry. But we just really were, the quality of our passing, the quality in the final third throughout the game, I just thought was really, really poor. Just showing a bit of defending there from Boat where he gave the ball away. Now, here's Murphy running at defenders again. Murphy clearly is our biggest danger man, but you've got to have a plan B. You can't just be, let's give the ball to Murphy and see what happens. Because actually, I thought he although he did a lot, his quality was a little bit off, unlike him at the weekend. Here's their goal. That's probably, talking about quality, that's probably the one true bit of quality throughout the night, wasn't it? The strike. I would have liked to have seen Swift closing him down a little quicker. If I'm honest with you, I felt he's a little bit tentative going out there. Again, going back to the Chris Reed comment about our timidness. I think you've got to be charging out and stopping that. Good save from Schmid there. But I just thought after they took the lead, we really didn't offer enough going forward. And ultimately, we paid the price. Got this highlight coming up here, which really unlucky, I felt. Good defending. Sejic almost got on the end of it, but good defending, I thought, from the Swansea lad, actually. So it's a tough one, isn't it? It's it's another game whereby you look at Swansea. Swansea battered us last year, and we came away with a 2-2 draw. It's really, really worrying, I think, that we've gone there. Swansea clearly aren't as good a side as they were last year. They didn't really bring the game to us as much. They had the better of the second half, there's no doubt. I thought we had the better of the first half marginally, but I just felt that we could have really taken that game to them. And it really begged for changes a little bit earlier. Swansea were on top in the second half. The ball was never going out to Lang for some reason, Yang. It was never going out to Yang on the right-hand side. It was all going down the left-hand side. Lang wasn't working through the middle. It was clear that Lang wasn't working through the middle. And although, again, Mourinho said in his press conference that he felt that he was occupying those defenders and giving them a really tough time, I felt it would have been best suited to get Lang out on the right-hand side, bring Bishop on. I know what people feel about Bishop, but Bishop, that was a game that was made for Bishop. Bulio centre-backs, and with the energy of Lang and Murphy, maybe it would have raised Murphy's game if we had that change a little bit earlier. I would have personally made it not long after half time. In fact, when Swanson's injury came around, maybe it was a good time to do it there, so we didn't use too many substitutions at once. But the Lang up front just wasn't working. It looked useful against Charlton, didn't look useful, I didn't think, against Swansea at all. And he endeavoured a lot, but just nothing was happening for him. So that's what I would have done. I would have just brought Bishop on earlier. I would have put Lang out right for a little period of time, let him run his socks off, let him tear apart their left back, and also stop their left back getting forward, because he was doing that quite a lot. I just don't get why we left those changes till so late. Bishop was brought on 73 minutes, and we changed 3 players. Maybe the idea was to bring Blair on and get him some minutes in. You could have still done that. You could have brought, like I say, put Lang out right on about 55, 60 minutes, given him 10 minutes out there, even 15 minutes, brought Blair on for the last 15 if it wasn't working, or if you just needed to put fresh legs on. But Chaplin, again, endeavour, just a little bit of lack of quality. You really want something just to go in off his backside or whatever, just so he has a bit of confidence moving forward. But it's I think once it does, it's going to happen for him, but it's just not happening at the moment. I don't know. What's your thoughts? We're clearly changing things around. 6 changes, obviously, for the Charlton lineup. We played with the same side against Swansea last night. I actually thought the young lads in centre-back did okay. I thought Matthews was still a little bit nervous at the beginning of the Swansea game, but I think he grew into the game well. Probably the best we've defended set pieces for most of this season. I think there wasn't many first headers lost in that penalty area. So you have to say Boat, Matthews, and I'd even say Pack was in there quite often, wasn't he, heading the ball away. So, I thought we did that particularly well. It's just these fine margins, and fine margins cost you at this level. I just feel we're lacking that little bit of quality. And are we lacking ideas? I think so. I think, we're slow. We're slow in possession. We're slow in moving the ball around. Can't say it enough. I really felt 3 points were on the table against Swansea, looking at how the first half went. And it's almost like the second half we came out playing for a point. I don't know. When the 3 points are there, yes, you can't go gun-ho. I understand that. I don't think we're going to go too gun-ho when you've got Swift and Pack as your centre midfield, because they're not the most mobile. They're not going to get up and back. So, you're not going to go crazy with that one. But I think we could have done more. I think we could have changed the layout of the front four a little earlier. And I think we could have actually got more from that game. As it is, it's a 1-0 defeat. We move on to Blackburn at the weekend. And, who knows? It's in different form that we the Blackburn have at the moment, up and down. But, we're clutching at straws a little bit because our form is absolutely shocking. What do you think? What do you think of the Swansea game? What do you think we need to change? What is the catalyst for that? Now, I've seen, again, lots of people. I think some of the comments about Marsilio are really quite unfair. I think you've got to remember, I think you've got to give him a little bit of respect for what he's achieved for this club, which other more experienced managers haven't managed to achieve in their time, in a similar sort of time frame. In fact, in a much longer time frame. None of them managed to get us out of League One. Jackett and Cowley, both much more experienced managers, neither kind of managed to get to achieve that, let alone keep us in on a very, very limited budget. I think this season, it's clear now we haven't improved. We haven't improved on last season. We're in exactly the same position we were. We're actually 1 point better off than we were at this stage last season. We were in the bottom three. Now, this is a glimmer of hope for us. We were in the bottom three until match week 22 last year. So we're now on match week, well, we're on 19, but it's match week 20 effectively, because obviously the Charlton game was called off. And we're on exactly the same amount of points we were this time last year. So it's not good. There's no two ways about it. It's very bad. I want to look for some positives. We finished 5 points above the drop last year. We went on a run from here to the end of the season this time last year and stayed up comfortably. The key thing now for me is that we need to see, there needs to be a catalyst that makes that change, and we don't know where it's coming from at the moment. We're changing the team, and there's no one really taking it by the scruff of the neck and, dragging us up. I kind of hope that Callum Lang's that man to do that. I think he's got the ability to do that. I think he needs to be used in the right way. I don't think he's a striker. I don't think using him there. We've basically got too many number 10s, haven't we? Too many number 10s, and we're trying to fit them into the side. I think we need to look at, I'd say aces in places. Get your best players in the best positions. Let's just go for it from there. You've got to stop worrying about offending people because they're not playing, because they're not good enough. Play your best players, your most informed players, which is difficult at the moment, and let's kick some backside. We've got to start picking up some points. Anyway, that's my rant over. What do you think? We're in a difficult position at the moment. Sorry, just going back to the Mousinho thing, the comments on Mousinho. I think you've got to give him a bit of respect. Some people are like taxi for John, get Mousinho out of here quick as possible, get O'Neill in, blah, 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 blah. Look, I understand the frustrations. I've said last couple of weeks ago, I think it was, I don't feel that the owners will change him, whether John is still up for the fight. Again, I looked at the comments on the press conference, and people are saying, he looks like a rabbit in headlights. No, I don't think he does. I think he looks like a manager who's peed off with the current situation and really probably quite frustrated. I hope so anyway, but we'll see. Maybe I'm just one of the happy clappers that the divisive fans like to talk about. Don't understand why people need to be divisive. We're all following the same team. At the end of the day, we all want the best for our team, don't we? And we know we're in a pretty dire situation at the moment. Anyway, if you want to be part of the Pompey Postbag, get involved. There's no Dan here to give you a 3% word. If you're new to the pod and you've made it to this far in, congratulations, just listening to my voice drone on for 15 minutes. But welcome to the 3% Club. And if you are part of the 3% Club, Here you go. I'll give you a 3% word. Let's go for iconic. If you can put iconic somewhere in the comments, just spam the comments with iconic. It doesn't matter. You can try and shoehorn it into your comments if you want, or just put iconic. It's easy, really, isn't it? But please get involved. Please like and share. And if you enjoy it, tell your friends about it. I have been the Pompey Pod. We will be back next week, hopefully with Dan and Tolly, because it's a bit weird sitting here talking to myself. But thanks for watching, and play out Pompey. Goodbye.